Ever since we last met a couple of months ago on the first humanitarian forum, a lot has changed in the governance front, in the security front, in the political front, and the economic front. So sometimes we attend something like 7, 8 meetings on issues that are at odds with one another at times, from development, long-term development planning and debt relief to humanitarian situation, from stabilization to liberation. I think some of the root causes of the crisis, food crisis, water shortage, that are leading to drought in Somalia are going to be addressed. One of the drivers, as you all would agree, has been the issue of conflict and the occupation of Al-Shabaab of some of the most fertile places in Somalia. I think ever since we last met, hundreds of kilometers of land have been recovered from Al-Shabaab. Over 70 locations, some moderately populated, some highly populated, have been recovered from Al-Shabaab. A lot of very dear people have lost their life in trying to recover land from Al-Shabaab. And of course, the government would not have been able to do all that without the support and the goodwill of our citizens in the localities. So while it might seem a bit strange that for the last 30 years we're always meeting to talk about the humanitarian situation, I think from a governance and societal aspects point of view, we're addressing some of the root causes of poverty and droughts, which is conflict, displacement, and insecurity. But on the other hand, as we try to control these elements, some global phenomena, such as global warming, rising temperatures, that are beyond the control of the average Somali citizen, the nomad or the farmer, are having a very profound effect on their life. As I said last time, a person with 300 goats and sheep becomes a poor man or woman in a matter of days. This is the 6th raining season that is falling short of expectations. I was at Sharm el-Sheikh not that long ago, where climate change was being deliberated and the response to it in terms of adaptation and mitigation. Interestingly, the Horn of Africa that we fall into has been identified as one of the most hard-hit countries. And Somalia is at the front lines, rather at the receiving end of this global warming and climate change. However, as all other countries are trying to adapt to and mitigate climate change, we as a government are thinking about some strategic national level policy issues that will help us resolve this issue. I'm here glad to inform you that we have, through the Ministry of Water, a national water strategy where we're thinking about a multitude of ways through which we can ensure the availability of water. Last time I met with the Norwegian representatives and we're discussing deep underground water and how perhaps we can explore ways to make that available to the Somali people. Water catchments. The 2 rivers that were a lifeline for the major bulk of the Somali population are at times drying out. And we can resolve some of the issues as we fix the irrigation canals and whatnot. So to give you a context of what is happening around this crisis that we're facing is that we're trying to finalize a war against Al-Shabaab that has occupied many parts of Somalia for the last 15 years. We recently recovered places called Haradere, Gal'ad, Masagawai, Elder, that some of them have never even seen the internet. They were under Al-Shabaab for 15 years. And the situation in those places is very dire. So some of the things I would like to bring to your attention is that as we think about the humanitarian response plans that we were having before, in the previous context, we must take stock of the changing landscape, the recovered areas, the liberated areas, and the people that would be displaced as we wage a war against Al-Shabaab in multiple fronts. On the political front, because lack of political stability and tensions do contribute to humanitarian crisis. So we are glad to report that we have had a very important gathering in the Baydhabo, where political reconciliation was concluded, and it is Southwest is one of the most hard-hit areas in terms of droughts. So with political stability, we will be having this space to both wage a war against Al-Shabaab and respond to the people. I see here the likes of Arush that have been working on these issues for many years. I must admit that we have left the burden of responding because of our limited fiscal space to our international partners. And we appreciate the effort, the resources, the goodwill, and the support that you are providing to our people on a very regular basis.